What's going on, everybody? Teddy Baldessar from teddybaldessar.com. In this video, we're going to be looking at a watch available for purchase on my website with the Müller Glashütte Promare Datum. So at any point throughout this video, you want more information about this piece, link in the description to the product page where you can also purchase the watch. You can book a call with me if you have any specific questions, but also use promo code FIRSTORDER. If it's your first time ordering from the store, you can get a discount off of any Müller Glashütte watch, as well as other select brands. So guys, let's take a closer look at this watch.
First, looking at a rundown of the specs, we have a case size of 44 millimeters, thickness of 12.2 millimeters, lug width of 22 millimeters, lug to lug of 53 millimeters, water resistance of 300 meters, movement is an automatic Sellita SW200, crystal is sapphire, and price for this one, we have $2,399 on the strap and $2,499 on the bracelet. And if you're a first-time customer, use promo code FIRSTORDER at checkout. You can get a discount off this watch as well as other select brands on the site, so go check that out. Now, in the past couple of weeks, I took a closer look at a couple other key models from Müller with their Promare Go and their SAR Rescue Timer. Those two are probably some of the best sellers, but also probably some of the more popular designs when I think of the brand. And I think the piece right here kind of combines both of the elements that were being drawn from those two watches and kind of combining them together with this Promare Datum. Now, I recently covered the Promare Go. It's one of my favorite Müller watches out there. I can link to it down below in the description. It's also on the playlist page on my channel. But this is a piece that I think is very well done, and it's comparable in many ways that I think we kind of just can come to expect from Müller nowadays. Now, just a little bit of backstory here. Müller is a German watch manufacturer. They have an impressive track record of developing timekeeping and industrial devices well over a century. The company is family owned, is in their 5th generation of ownership, and are based in the legendary watchmaking city in Germany, Glashütte. Their rise in the world of timekeeping devices and other industrial parts include a well-established history with marine chronometers and motorcycle speedometers for the likes of BMW. And then in the 1990s, they shifted a bit of their focus into the world of wristwatches after one of their clients of marine chronometers approached them to create a line of wristwatches that could withstand the tough conditions aboard their ships. Now, this expansion really kind of brings them front and center with models like we just mentioned with the SAR Rescue Timer and the Promare Go, where there's a lot of nautical inspiration, but also I think that tool watch aesthetic that many familiar with the brand can really just expect from Müller. Now, first looking at this watch on the wrist, we have a case size of 44 millimeters and a nice thickness of 12.2 millimeters, but a lug to lug of 53 millimeters. So since this watch has the absence of a bezel, you might feel that 44 millimeters when strapping on with that lug to lug just simply being big, and there's really no way around it. This is a watch that's going to wear quite large on the wrist. The size of the lugs do extend out quite a bit, and it's kind of one of the main points of criticisms on the Promare Go, but here I think it's even felt further. With all that considered, I would recommend this watch for mostly people that have, say, a 7-inch wrist and up, kind of being that minimum here. However, this will ultimately come down to personal preference. The case comes with a predominantly brushed finish and does have a nice polished bevel along the side of the crown guards as well as the lugs here. The crown guards protect the screw down crown at the 3 that upon unscrewing operates in typical fashion, can hand wind at the first position, can change the date at the second position, and can adjust all the hands at the farthest position while stopping the second hand in the process. Between the lugs here, we have a lug width of 22 millimeters, and on this piece, there's a really well executed rubber strap that comes with this and also comes with a bracelet as another option here. The outer side of this strap, though, is perforated in order to really assist in its breathability on the wrist, and the underside has a nice kind of line block treading to offer security with comfort, as well as not having it kind of slide around when strapped on the wrist, and comes with this orange accent, which really assists with matching what we'll see with the rest of the watch and of course on the dial. Along the outside of the case, we have the inclusion of a rubber ring around the bezel, which takes inspiration from that SAR Rescue Timer that I mentioned a little bit ago. This feature is included as a way to increase durability aboard ships, and in this instance, I think it just does work well with the design overall. That said, I can't help but think what this thing would look like with a black and orange accented bezel. I think that would look really interesting. Taking a closer look at the flat sapphire crystal, we have a simple dial layout that is both tasteful in its sense of design as well as offering great legibility. The dial surface comes in a glossy black, which really helps pop underneath that sapphire crystal, which also will have anti-reflective coating. Along the outside, we have a line minute track with an orange circular rim along the outskirts. At each of the hours, we have applied markers containing superluminova to match the lume present in the pencil style handset at the center. One point when looking at these Promare models is the second hand. In this case, it comes with an orange dipped end, which is a nice splash and really aids in legibility as it's casting across the dial. But in addition to that, it also does feature the inclusion, or the lack thereof, I should say, of a counterweight, which I think is kind of a cool touch. And of course, as this watch and name suggests, we do have the inclusion of a well-executed date window at the 3 with a black date disc with white printing to really help with that contrast. And to put it simply, this dial design is just kind of down to the business. It does have a little bit of fun with the accents, but certainly one of the stars of the show. But I use that phrase of one of the stars just because I think one of the points of emphasis here is also with the movement on this piece, as well as other Miele watches, as this is a really good focal point for them as a brand. When it comes to the world of movements, there's a lot of different brands out there that just try to get away with just slapping in a basic movement and calling it a day. And I don't think it's a terrible idea, especially if it's running well and also if it's not demanding extra dollars. Yet when it comes to Miele, this is not their overall path that they take when looking at their movements. Flipping over this piece, we have an open case back providing view of the movement within. It's an SW200. However, this one is a modified top grade and is actually partially deconstructed and then constructed again with their own proprietary components. Now this movement comes with an engraved custom rotor. It has blued screws, which Miele is actually applying themselves, and a nice regulator for fine-tuning the accuracy of the movement. Now the regulator neck here that's present is called a woodpecker neck. It's a patented regulator system invented by Miele back in 2003. It's basically a reinterpreted design from the more popular swan neck style, providing similar sensitive adjustment while improving on upping the shock resistance in the process. This movement though operates at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 Hertz, features hacking, so when you unscrew that screw down crown and pull to the farthest position, you can stop that second hand, and then also features hand winding and has a power reserve of 38 hours. And in terms of accuracy, expect single digits all days of the week here for these. These are highly regulated movements, are going to be performing quite well. Okay, so now looking at this piece, I think let's just unpack some things to consider on the things that I like and don't like. I think the first thing, as I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of the Promare series. I think the Promare Go is one of my favorite watches that Miele makes. I have a review on it. And one of the issues with that watch was just, I think, the size and price. And I think those are kind of the remaining things here. I think the size on this piece is just a little bit even more out of the realm of possibility for people with smaller wrists and even some medium-sized wrists. This is a large watch, and with no bezel or a large rotating bezel, it does make that dial appear even larger when strapped on. So I think that's going to be a big deal breaker for some people. But when it comes to the overall construction here, there's no corners going to be cut. The case finish is very well done. You're getting really healthy water resistance, a thick sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, an awesome cool use of color. You're getting that high regulated movement. But I think this piece in a lot of ways is kind of a snapshot from a modern point of view of what Miele is and where they kind of came from, with all the nautical themes of this piece and kind of almost reflecting some of that marine chronometer type of looks and in some aspects of the design and being built like a tank in the process.
So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If you do have any questions about this piece, book a call with me. Love to have a conversation with you about it. And then finally, if it's your first time ordering from the store, feel free to use that promo code FIRSTORDER to get a discount of your purchase of this watch or other select brands on the site. Love to show you what Going Authorized is all about. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.